A number of anonymous sources close to the Syrian conflict have told RT that rebel forces are planning to launch a, quote, provocation attack using chemical weapons against Israel. Live now to RT's Paula Sleer in Tel Aviv for more on this. Obviously, those concerns that are uncorroborated, but let's talk about where they may have come from and how strong they may be. Those concerns being greeted very seriously in Israel.
Well, it certainly will be taken very seriously here in Israel. Nothing as of yet in the Israeli press or any kind of official comments. What we know is that RT sources are telling us that they have information that in the nearest future there will be an attack originating in the areas of Syria where the rebels are present, using certain unknown chemical weapons against the territory of Israel. Now, there are two important points I want to make. The first is that we are being told that these attacks will originate in territory that is being controlled by the Assad government. So what this clearly means is that the blame will go towards the Syrian regime. But on the other hand, it will be attacks that will be carried out by the Syrian rebels. As I say, no reaction as of yet here in Israel, but in the last 24 hours, there have been a number of emergency drills, particularly in the north of the country, in Israel's Golan Heights. We also are hearing now from the Israeli Institute for Policy Against Terrorism. On Monday, they released a report in which they say that they have information that there are chemical weapons in Syria being housed in some 50 cities. 5 of those are cities with big factories. Now, the report is saying that the situation in these cities is constantly changing. So what this means is that sometimes the rebels are in charge, sometimes Assad's forces. And the conclusion is that there is the possibility that the rebel fighters will be in control of these weapons if and when these cities fall to their hands. The report also outlines concerns that Hezbollah or Palestinian organizations or Al-Qaeda-linked organizations will get their hands on these chemical weapons. Israel, of course, is very, very concerned about any kind of attacks on Israeli territory that will emanate from Syria. In the past, it has struck Syria at the time it said to prevent weapon delivery to Hezbollah. Of course, it's common knowledge in Israel and elsewhere that this country benefits from Assad being in power. Otherwise, Israel would have to face a whole host of characters who ultimately are going to be worse than Assad himself. Although officially, the Israeli point of view is that it is not involved inside Syria. But speaking to people here inside Israel, the Israeli point of view, by and large, is that the lesser evil is for Israel to coexist with the Assad regime. And of course, this is something that Israel has been doing for a few years. The alleged use of chemical weapons by the rebels is not something new. We've seen these allegations coming forward in the past. Of course, this is a conflict that has been laden with all kinds of provocations at all levels. We've seen horrifying pictures of dead children that were used by the Obama administration to justify a possible attack on Syria. And later it turned out that those children had in fact been kidnapped and slaughtered by the rebels with chemical weapons. Israel, of course, will take very seriously these latest claims that rebels are planning a major provocation to strike Israel from the territory currently being controlled by the Syrian government.
All right, Paula, thanks for the update there from Tel Aviv. Paula Sleer, our Middle East correspondent.